Okay, folks, here's a quick review of the Penguin figure that was produced by Mattel as a part of the Batman Classic TV series line of products. And I picked this up at Walmart for $15.97. Okay, so when I first got this figure out of its packaging, I liked its overall appearance. This is a nice looking representation of the Penguin as he was seen on the Batman TV series. And facially, it's not a bad likeness of Burgess Meredith, the actor who played Penguin. And I also like seeing the gold monocle on his right eye. Now, I did find several of these figures on the pegs with warped cigarette holders, so my advice to you is to be on the lookout for that defect. And also of note, the cigarette holder, the top hat, and the jacket are non-removable on this figure. Paint apps were done very well for the most part. I only found one minor chip on the back of Penguin's left hand, and that was it. The articulation joints moved pretty well for the most part. I had no problem in moving the head, the shoulders, the elbows, the hips, or the knees. There is wrist articulation on this figure, but his jacket sleeves prevent it from moving properly. And similarly, the ankle articulation is restricted due to his slacks billowing outwards. So let me pause here, zoom in, and I'll give you a closer look as to what the Penguin looks like. Okay. Alright, there was one accessory included in the package with this figure, as well as a figure stand with a collectible card. So let me pan down real quick, and I'll show you what those items look like. Okay, first up, here's his umbrella. Now, this doesn't have any type of functionality, and it stays in the closed position permanently. The handle, it looks to be somewhat warped, but he can still hold on to it rather nicely in either hand. Okay, finally, here is the figure stand and the collectible card. Now, the card also has an additional picture on the back, which is part of a piece of a Batcave puzzle. So let me turn it over real quick, show you what that looks like. Which, there it is. Okay. Turn this back over and we'll continue on. Now, as before, the stand, it looked like it was going to be an appropriate size for the figure, but I discovered that if you try to clip this card into the base itself, you're going to have problems trying to display it, as the base is just too small to fit this card onto for an appropriate display. And also, as before, this card can be damaged if you try to insert it and remove it a bunch of times on this stand. So my advice to you, just find another way to display it more appropriately. And as before, I do like seeing this decal on the figure stand with the AHK slogan on it. It looks just like I remember seeing it during the fights on the show, and the figure does peg into place on the stand firmly. Back to the figure itself. What I'll do now is a quick 360 of Penguin for you and let you see what he looks like from all sides. So here he is from the front, from the left, from the rear, here he is from the right hand side, and finally, I'm sorry, I couldn't resist doing that. Here he is once again from the front. So overall, I have to say that I really like this figure. I think it looks good, and there really aren't any complaints to speak of, aside from that figure stand potentially damaging the collectible card with repeated insertions and removals. And I'm finding that to be the case with every figure that I've reviewed from this line so far. I also don't like that the feet and the wrists are a bit too restricted for movement. So therefore, I think this Penguin should get a good bordering on great recommendation. This isn't a bad figure to have for your collection, especially if you're in my age bracket and you grew up watching this show during its first broadcasts on TV. So go on ahead and pick it up. If nothing else, it's good to have for nostalgia purposes. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.